Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Bit Glenn. My name's Glenn. I like to share with you what I learn in the world of cryptocurrency as I go through it. So we have come to the end of the pre-sale for the Ether Homes token, or just the Home token for short. I originally created this project with a goal in mind, and that was to help people like you watching this video to be able to use your cryptocurrency to actually invest in properties in the UK. Now, since I've been talking about this idea, which was several months ago, a lot of people have reached out to me saying you should do this, you should do that, it should be a governance token, you should be able to have voting rights on what property you do and don't buy. But I feel like I've gone down a path of creating a token that is fair, transparent, clear, legit. I've called it what it is from the beginning. There's been no questions of that. So I feel like I've done the best to my ability. I've created this token, I've created a website, I've created a advertisement campaign, I've shielded it on Twitter now for about 28 days straight. I have done live streams almost every day, and I've been posting these sort of regular videos as I've been going through it. Now, when I actually set the goal of 120 Ethereum, I actually thought that would be quite an easy target to achieve. The amount of people that were contacting me saying, Glenn, I'm interested in this project, I'll send you 5 Ethereum, 10 Ethereum, 30 Ethereum, whatever. I've had many different conversations with different people, and I thought, God, 120 Ethereum, that should be a pretty easy target to hit. Now, I didn't set 120 because I thought that's what I could hit. I set it because I felt that is actually a viable business starting plan. If someone came to you and said, how much do you need to buy a property? A lot of you out there would probably say something like, well, I'd need about 50 grand. Now, I've actually put a soft cap target of about, it works out about £35,000. And I feel that is really sort of like cutting it fine with the lowest target that I can do with still achieving the goal that I wanted to achieve, and that is to purchase a property outright using the cryptocurrency that you guys donate in this pre-sale. And therefore anyone holding the home token, they would actually own a share of a limited company called Ether Homes Limited, which would be registered officially in the UK, which means all their books are public. So every year that the accounts are done, you'll be able to see and verify everything yourself, no matter where you are in the world, wherever you are in the world. If you own some home tokens, you're like, I want to check this guy out, you can do it yourself through the official UK government website. I've also stated how I'm going to go about spending the money to purchase properties, and then obviously refinancing the properties once they're renovated, and then to go out and buy another property. Maybe my message has got lost. A few of you have messaged me over the time and said, I don't quite understand what you're doing. So if we buy the token, we own a share of the house. And that's a wrong way of thinking. That's sort of like a poor man's way of thinking, if you like. I'm not trying to tokenize a house. Otherwise, I would just say, do you want to own some of this house? If you buy so many of these tokens, you own the house. That is not what I was trying to achieve. So I've done loads of these videos where I really tried to explain quite clearly what it is that I'm actually creating here. So I just wanted to do this video without it being a live stream, and I am going to do a live stream straight after this so people can come in and ask me questions before the final day of the sale. I wanted to make this point really, really clear. What I am offering is a token which is directly linked to shares of a company. That company would be run and managed by myself. It's in a trade where I know the industry pretty well. I've had many years experience in it, and I've also had a bit of success, hence the spare funds that I've used to buy cryptocurrencies in the past, and you guys know that from watching my videos in the past. I wanted to sell these tokens that would directly link to a shares of a limited company. That limited company would then go forth and purchase homes in the UK, hence the name Home Token, which I thought was pretty cool. That means that if you own the tokens, you directly have a share of any debts and assets that that company owns. So if I purchase a property and then remortgage it, you're essentially having a share of whatever that company owes and owns. My plan was to not just buy one property, it was to recycle the money so that I can purchase more and more properties. Now, a lot of you find this really hard to get your head around, so I'm going to try and explain it really, really simply. When you purchase a home in the UK, you can either put down, let's say 10% as a deposit. That's sort of like a standard target that a lot of people aim for. So let's say you're buying a house for 100 grand. You put down 10% deposit. You're then getting a mortgage for £90,000. Well, the only time you ever get that 10% back is when you sell the home. Or if the house goes up enough, you can then take out a new mortgage for another 90% if the house has gone up in value. So now if it's worth 110, say 5 years later, you can then get 90% of 110, which would then be sort of 99,000 or whatever it may be. So therefore you've got some of your money back and you've still got equity in the home. Now a lot of people say to me, what if house prices crash? We'll put that aside a minute, we'll answer that in a second. There is another way of doing properties, and that is to purchase a property and then rent it out to someone. And essentially they pay your mortgage for you. That is referred to in the UK as a buy to let. So a lot of people just call them BTL or just buy to let. With buy to lets, one of the stumbling blocks, and the reason there are a lot of people that do it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of people that are trying to get into the property game don't do it, is because you typically need a 25% deposit. So again, if we use the example, if you're buying a home for £100,000, you need £25,000 as a deposit. Now for some people this is completely unattainable, and it would take many, many years to actually save up that sort of deposit to buy a house to then rent it out. Now a simple way that you can make money in properties is actually by renovating properties. A lot of properties are run down, they're beat up, they're dated, they may have an issue, they may have an underlying issue. As long as you're confident enough to say, I reckon I can rectify that issue and I reckon I can remodernise the house, you can then add value to the property. Now this means that you've made money out of essentially your hard work and dedication to the project. So let's just say, for example, you buy a house for 100 grand, you put down 25 grand as a deposit. But if the house was actually modernised and if it was actually up to scratch to all the other houses that have sold in that street in that same year or two, the house would actually be worth £130,000. Well, this means that at that point in time, we have a mortgage of £75,000 on it because we paid 25 grand as a deposit. But if we do the renovation work, let's say we spend £10,000 renovating it, the house has now gained £30,000 as well as the 25 that you put in. So when you actually come to remortgaging it at that point, you can actually try and remortgage it the 75% of the 130,000 mark. Now, I've literally just quoted these figures off the top of my head, but let's just say for that example, and we'll go over to my screen share. Let's say now that house that we've just renovated is now worth 130,000. We are now going to leave 25% equity in that home and we're going to remortgage the rest. Well, that means that we can get out of that house 97,500. But if you remember at the beginning, we bought the house for 100k and we left in 25 grand as a deposit. So we have to pay off the previous money that we borrowed against the house, which was 75,000. So now we're going to minus off 75,000. That means that with our £25,000 that we put down as a deposit, we now get back as cash back, if you like. You get the remortgage, they pay your mortgage off, and they say, there's 22,500 left over. Mr. Hammond, where would you like this sent to? And obviously that money would come back to me. Now, that means that essentially you have bought a house for £1,500. Now, I've just plucked these figures out of thin air. When you actually look at a property, and this is how I actually look at my property deals. I have this sheet this Excel, I love an Excel spreadsheet. You guys will probably know that in the past. This is the deal structure that I use myself personally. So what I do is I put in here, property is 100,000, but we're actually getting it for 85,000. This is an example that I've been looking at. This is actually, I'm going to give you the figures directly from a house that I'm looking to purchase myself as a buy to let. So this is nothing to do with Ether Homes. It could have been if we hit the target. But the price of the house is about 130,000 if it was all done up. They're selling it to me for £85,000. That means we're buying it below market value. That's what BMW stands for. 35%. We're putting in 21,250 as a deposit. The mortgage amount. Now this spreadsheet worked everything out for me. See, all I did was put the price that we're buying it for. The actual amount that we're mortgaging it for is 63,750. That's the stamp duty we'll pay, but at the moment the government are doing stamp duty relief, so it isn't quite zero for limited companies, but it is pretty low at the moment, but we'll just leave that for a second. The solicitors, I reckon, will be about £800 for that because it's quite a straightforward purchase. You'd probably have to pay £150 to £200 as a surveyor fee. The broker fees are probably £500, so that is spot on. Doing up costs, I reckon this property in particular is about £10,000. This sheet was already set up actually because I've been looking at this deal previously. So that means the total amount of cash that we're putting into this deal, so bear with me, we're putting in the 21,250 plus we're paying the solicitor fees, plus we're paying the surveyor fees, plus the broker fees and the doing up costs. So that gives us 32,750. That is all the money that we're putting back into it. So the property, now it's renovated, is worth 130. That means when we come to do our remortgage, we should be able to remortgage it for 97,500. This means that I will get back out of the property is potentially, if I sell it for exactly 130,000, £33,750. That means that I'm getting 100% return on investment, I estimate, within about 2 months. That means that I've bought a house, renovated it, and at the end of that process, I've walked away with 100% return on investment and £1,000 cash. So I've actually gained money through this. Now, as well as that, I've also gained the fact that there is now £32,500 equity in this property. So if you do the maths there, now we're up to 130% return on investment. Now, a lot of people say to me, oh, you're remortgaging the house, you're putting debt against the house, there's no point doing it, I don't understand what you're doing. But remember, we're starting this small business venture off with essentially £35,000. So we're putting 35,000 in, we're getting 35,000 back, and now we have 32,000 in equity. So if we include the equity, we've actually doubled our money. Now, this is just one example. Now, if you was to then go and rent this property out, you can see I've already put the maths in already previously. The house value, if we was to put it at 130,000, we're remortgaging it for 37,500. I've worked out an APR of 3%, which is quite high, but I like to overestimate, not underestimate. So typically the APRs that we're getting at the moment are lower than that, but I've put that in as a safety net because what if the interest rates rise? What if happens? So I've put 3% in there, but some of them at the moment are 1.5, 1.9, 2, 2.1. So 3 is on the high end. Well, this has worked out. I've put in a calculation at the top here of what that interest rate would be. I've actually put this in as 3.5%. So let's change that to 3%. And then divided that over 12 months. So this would calculate that our monthly payments on this mortgage would be £244. Now, I've done a bit of research and I got a few different varied quotations. Someone said that in that area, that house would actually rent for £700 a month. Someone said $650 a month. So what I've done is I've actually put 595. I like to underestimate, not overestimate, because that is the quickest way to get stung. We have the maintenance costs of the property. So what you want to do is ideally you want to put some money aside every single month so that when the boiler goes, or when, I don't know, a tap leaks, or you need to call in a plumber, a decorator, whatever, you would put some money aside. So then that way, if something happens, in theory, it hasn't cost you anything. The tenant that's living in the property has been paying it, but they just don't realise that. We also leave this property to be managed by a letting agency. So they deal with all the vetting, the processing, the credit checks, the tenant queries, the viewings, any issues with the property going forward from that, taking the money each month, sending me obviously the remaining money, marketing the property, all of that is managed. So at this point in time, I've bought the property, renovated it, I've handed it over to these guys. That's it. Done. That is all my involvement, in theory, done from this property. If they ring me up and say, Glenn, you need to get an up-to-date boiler check, they can do it all for me. They will charge me for it, but because they do this day in, day out, when I was getting quotes for a boiler service and a certificate, I was getting quotes of about £79 to £99. I went to a letting agent and they said, well, if you let our guy do it, he charges £49. So, and you have to do the same with an electrical certificate, and they go around and regularly check the property as well, so they say. So they're meant to check it after 2 weeks, then a month, then 2 months, 6 months, then a year, and then after that it's every sort of 6 months or a year. So they just keep an eye on the property. So they're always popping around, just, you've left a big stain on that carpet. I suggest you get that cleared up, otherwise it could affect your deposit later on. So they're dealing with all that crap, all the nitty gritty bit of being a landlord. They're dealing with all of that. That's the management. Normally they charge 10%. Some of them are 10% plus VAT. Some of them are 8% plus VAT. So on average, it's about 10%. That means our total monthly expenses for this property to run it on a month-to-month basis is £404. Now, remember, I've underestimated. So even if I achieve lower rent than what I've been quoted for, I'm okay. If I get any more, I'm even more okay. But this means that I'm actually earning £191 per month from this property. Now, this is just an example. Until you actually get there, renovate the property and rent it out, you don't quite know what they are going to be. But it's always best to go into it with a plan in place. So you know exactly what the fees are, when the fees are to be paid, and how much you're going to generate a month. Now, once you've now at this point, you're renting the property out. So the tenants are covering the rent. They're covering the mortgage payments. That debt that you've got on that mortgage is now decreasing. It's getting smaller and smaller. And the property value, if previous history is to go by, is increasing. So the gap between what you owe and what the house is worth should be always expanding. It should be getting bigger and bigger. Now, this has happened in the past for many, many years, pretty much since the dawn of time. Properties have typically gone up in value. There have been periods of stagnation. There have also been periods of house prices dropping rapidly, 2008 being the most recent example. But this doesn't really affect us until the day we sell the house. As long as the rental market doesn't fall through the ground, then you're still going to be renting it out and you're going to be earning £191 a month from this property. Now, what we can do is we can take that money now and we can go and buy another one. So instead of just having that one property, we would now start and do another one. Now this is called recycling of your money. So that £35,000, now we own 2 properties. Now let's just say we get a property that's pretty much the same. We're then obviously going to do exactly the same business model. We're going to renovate it and then we're going to rent it out. And with the money that we've taken out of the property, we're going to rent that one out as well. Now we're earning, instead of just 191 a month, we're now earning just under £400 a month. Now these are again just examples. The more money that this project raises, the bigger and more profitable these deals could be. You don't have to rely on bridging finance, broker fees. You could just go in and buy the house cash, so you're saving fees here and there. Because you're a quick purchaser, you can negotiate better deals, so you could get the house quicker and cheaper buying it directly from the vendor without any of the mortgage companies getting involved. It goes through quicker through solicitors as well. You can transfer the money into the solicitor's account and they basically just do their survey and then they send the funds to the person selling the house. So these are all benefits, but I don't think we're quite going to get there unless there is a massive uptick in people interested in this project in the next sort of 36 hours. So we're aiming for our soft cap, and what this means is that we can keep doing this over and over again as long as it is managed well, which I know I'm pretty confident I can do. I'm actually on my 3rd property now, so I'm on my own. I'm already sort of here. Now, I done this with the starting figure of £7,000. Now, it wasn't easy, don't get me wrong. I had to beg, borrow, steal and everything off, to get the deals done, get them renovated. But if I had £35,000 at the beginning, God, this would have been so much easier. It would have been so much quicker, and that is why a lot of people have messaged me saying, I don't understand. How are you going to buy a property with only £35,000? Now, what I plan to do is actually, with the Ethereum that is deposited from you guys, and obviously a lot of you are asking, what are you going to do with money? What are you going to do with the money? Obviously, strategically, what I should do is cash the money out straight away. The Ethereum, cash it out, and I get my £35,000 and I go and start this business venture. My plan was to actually deposit it to Nexo or a platform like that and borrow 50% of it first, because you don't need all the money up front at the beginning. So that means that you still own that Ethereum. So let's just say this does raise 120 Ethereum. I put that to Nexo. I can borrow, say, £17,500. I can go and get the ball rolling, get the surveyors, get the solicitors, get the broker fees, renovate the property. And if they say, right, actually we need the other, say, 10, 20,000, then I could sell at any point and they pay you that day. Sell the Ethereum in dribs and drabs so that I can actually get the money out that I need to complete a deal. But this means that not only am I getting the property that I want through your investment, through the pre-sale, the home is also backed by Ethereum itself. The Ethereum is there backing the project. You have a 35 grand investment with 35 grand's worth of Ethereum sitting in the bank. A lot of you can't get your head around that, but this means that the homes are backed by Ether, hence the name Ether Homes. I don't have to do this. A lot of people said, what if Ethereum drops 40% and you won't be able to do what it is you want to do? That could be true. Personally, I have a very strong feeling that Ethereum's going to do very, very well. So it could go both ways. If Ethereum did go up to $1,000 per Ethereum or $500 per Ethereum, well, if I've got 120, all of a sudden the business has £120,000 at its disposal. Obviously, I've already borrowed, say, 35 or 17 grand, whatever it may be at that time. Well, then I can just draw 50% of that. So then I'm only ever borrowing 50%. So as long as Ethereum doesn't drop more than 50% in any one day, then it shouldn't affect me in any way, shape or form anyway. So I hope that clears up what it is that I'm trying to do. Eventually, what we want is we want a whole list of properties like this all the way down. We want 10 properties, we want 15 properties, and that means that we're then earning, you know, £1,000 a month, £1,500 a month, £2,000 a month from the rental side, plus the properties are going up in value, so these are always increasing, and the debt is always going down. So we're winning in sort of 3 different ways there. We have the price of the properties going up, we have the debt going down, we have the rental income, so we're earning money from the rent month in, month out, and this all goes into the profit sheet of the company, which is all going to be disclosed and open and fair. I can get it audited if that's what you guys require to make an investment. As well as that, there's this token called Ether Homes token. Whoever owns the token owns a share of whatever happens here. Whatever happens in this deal structure, you own a percentage of all of it. Not just one, all of it. The whole thing. So when people was emailing me saying, Glenn, I've just bought 5,000 tokens, how much of the house do I own? You don't own a percentage of the home. You own a percentage of the company, and the company is going to own God knows how many properties if we can make a success of it. So people are not seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that eventually we're going to own 10, 12, 15 homes. Now, if you ever at any point think, do you know what, I really need my money back and I want to sell the tokens. The tokens will be on sale on a website called Uniswap. This is a decentralized exchange. I can also try and list it on other exchanges as well later on. But you'll be able to buy and sell the tokens freely. Hopefully though, as we increase the amount of assets that we acquire through the business, the token should, I can't promise you that it'll go up in value, but it should be worth more money. The token will be associated with this project. So if we now have, say for example, this first one that we were talking about, 32,500 equity in this home plus 120 Ethereum, well, the token should be worth overall a £70,000 market cap, so it should already double in price. So you're talking that's 1x. Should. If we then buy a second property, a third property, a fourth property, well, that means this token should now, within the space of about a year to a year and a half, by the time I estimate that you buy these sort of 4 or 5 properties, you're then talking it should 5x. Now that is without speculation. That is no speculation. That is someone sitting down and saying, right, if you own this token, you have a share of, you know, £120,000 worth of property equity in properties. So the token should be worth whatever the amount of, obviously I don't know how many tokens are going to end up being sold, but let's just say it's 300,000 and there's £300,000. The token should be worth £1 a token, or £10 a token, depending if then we go and buy 10 properties. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint what the token should be worth, but what I've done is I've put what I believe is a good value. I've worked the price out on 1 Ethereum. So 1 Ethereum will get you 2,500 Ether Home tokens. But remember that once we hit the soft cap of 120 Ethereum, that is going to be used to purchase a property straight away. So already we're going to go and buy a property. We're going to add value to that property. We are then going to remortgage that property and then put it on the market. Now, worst case worse, if people start saying, well, hang on a minute, there's going to be a price crash, and we feel like, okay, we can see that coming ahead. If there's any properties that are underachieving or are not doing us particularly well, we can sell them. Now, obviously, say these properties, you owe 97,000 against it. Well, yeah, these properties we're estimating are worth 130,000, but let's say we sell it for 120,000. Well, that means, let's get the right amount of zeros in here. Well, that means you're going to walk away with £30,000 profit. That's even if you take a 10 grand hit on the property. So as long as you're adding value to it and you're not buying them at 100% market value, then you shouldn't really lose unless the market really tanks. I'm talking like it'd have to drop 40% in a very short period of time, which could happen. It could happen. It just hasn't happened in history. So it could happen. But then again, all we would do is continue to rent them out until the day they become profitable to sell, and we can sell them off and buy bigger, more lavish, more profitable projects. So now we've got like this mixture of money coming in a month. All of a sudden the banks will say to you, Glenn, you own Ether Homes and your shareholders, would you like a line of credit of £1 million because you own these 10 properties? We can see you've got £300,000 in equity. If you ever screw us over, we can just take the houses away from you. Well, now we've got this £1 million credit, and then we can just start buying houses cash, and we can just start getting them renovated really quick. We can start buying 2 or 3 at a time. So before you know it, you can start buying 8, 10 in a year. So things start happening a lot quicker. So remember, you're investing in a start-up business, and a lot of people are messaging me and they basically want £1 million idea overnight. But this isn't that. I'm trying to sell you something that is real. Something that is legit, something that's going to take time, it's going to take hard work, it's going to take a lot of grime, getting your elbows, or getting my elbows dirty. It's going to take a lot of that, and it's going to take a lot of legal work and solicitors and surveyors and letting agents. So this is something that I would love for you guys to be on that journey with me. Obviously you would be helping me. Now, if this project isn't a go, let's just say that we don't hit the soft cap. I am going to be doing this anyway. So it just means that you watching this video, you will not be joining me on this journey. I will be doing this anyway. If I was to do this, I could run the two separate side by side. I could stick to what me and my friend, my other company director, are doing at the moment, as well as obviously purchasing properties through this. Normally when you buy a property, your money's tied up for 2 or 3 months, and once it's renovated, it takes a couple of months. There's normally quite a lot of downtime. So that's where I can then say, right, okay, I've finished with that project, let's do this one. Right, I'm finished with that one, let's do this one. And then for me personally, my time, that's as much as I'd want to take on. So I wouldn't be doing anything after that. At the moment, I'm filling my time with doing YouTube videos. So when I'm not doing the property side with me and my partner, I'm doing YouTube videos, I'm reviewing, you know, I don't know, crypto.com, Hex, and, you know, all the stuff that you guys have seen me talk about. So as well as doing that, I can also show people what it is that we're buying, because I've got a YouTube channel. So I can actually share and say, hey guys, look, this is what we're looking to purchase. So if we go over to my YouTube channel, you can see already that I've already visited properties. I've already done several videos over the last couple of months, actually going around showing you guys properties. Look, this is the type of property we'll be buying, and this is how I look to renovate it. And they tend to do really well. They get a lot of likes and there's a lot of views. So to me, it seems like this would be a popular idea. Whenever I talk about Ether Homes, the token, or the pre-sale, I tend to get over 200 views, 300 views, which is really good. But if we go over to the token home tracker, so at the moment, which I'm really proud of, I've actually sold 62,825 Ether Home tokens. That's not enough. We need 300,000. But you can see here, 17 holders. That means there's 17 of you. Bearing in mind one of them is me. That means there's only 16 people that have watched my videos and seen my Twitter posts and everything like that, and they've actually put their money into the project. Now, someone today put in the largest amount of Ethereum, so he's now the largest shareholder. He has 17.5% of the total token supply. Someone the other day bought 8,500, so these are now they own more of the tokens than me. So I am not even the largest majority shareholder of the tokens, which is how I wanted it to be. A lot of projects out there, if you do your research, they will actually have a sale of a token, say 30 to 40% of the total supply. But that means that someone has the other 60 to 80% somewhere. So at some point you're going to get the token dumped on you, and I know that a lot of people may get triggered by that and say, oh no, I love this project, and they'd never do that. That's what they're going to do, because how else are they looking to raise money themselves? If, say, XRP is worth £1 billion market cap, just off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was worth, that's all well and good, but it's only worth that if 100% of the tokens were sold at that precise moment. So they need to sell 5%, 3%, 10% of the tokens here and there to raise money for the business that they've created. So I didn't want to have to do that. I didn't want to be incentivized to do that. I wanted to have some tokens so that everyone can say, well, Glenn's invested in it, he's put his money where his mouth is. But I didn't want to be the 100% market shareholder of it. I didn't want to put some money aside for marketing, referrals. So I've made this as absolute, fair, transparent, clear, honest. There's no scam going on here. The second that obviously we hit the soft cap and the sale ends in 2 days' time, I will use them funds almost straight away to purchase a property, hopefully by the end of this year. We are currently at the end of September, so probably end of October, beginning of November, we will be looking to purchase our first property, and then obviously by the time all the legal stuff goes through, probably end of November, maybe beginning of December. So towards the end of this year, we will own our home. You watching this video and me, we will own a home together. That is the goal. You can view and verify all this if you want to. If you are thinking, oh, Glenn's committing something dodgy here, you can go over to ether-homes.com. This is the website for the project, and you can actually go through and read exactly what it is I'm trying to talk about. So that spreadsheet that I showed you, buy, refurbish, rent, refinance, and then go and buy the next one. So this is exactly what I'm talking about in sort of imagery form. So if you don't quite follow through with what I've said and you understand better with imagery, this is it in a nutshell. This is exactly what it is that I'm trying to do. You can see the Ethereum that you're depositing into the smart contract will obviously be used to purchase the first property, then refurbish it, rent it, refinance, and we'll just do it over and over again. So if you want to have a read through this, you can. There's a white paper to go with it. There is also a frequently asked questions section. I understand that obviously my spelling isn't the best, so I do apologise about that. And it seems like that triggered a lot of you out there. Obviously I'm not raising money to create a spelling company, so but a lot of people seem to think, oh, if there's spelling mistakes, that means it's not a legit project. But if we go over to the smart contract, so there's two separate things here. There is the home token address, and there is a smart contract. Now, because you're not just buying the tokens from, say, Uniswap, you're actually entering into a smart contract. You're entering a contract like you would be buying a mobile phone on contract, or agreeing to sign up to BT or Virgin for your internet. So with the smart contract, what you're actually agreeing to, when you send Ethereum to this address, you're basically saying, I will deposit Ethereum into this address, I will hold it there until September the 24th at 10 AM, and if the project hits its soft cap, I will receive home tokens in exchange. If it does not hit its soft cap, I will receive my Ethereum back. So this is perfect for you watching this video. This means that two outcomes are going to happen. One, you've just invested into a go-ahead, successful pre-sale project. Or two, you're going to get your Ethereum back. So I'll just let that sink in a minute, because you tell me, I'd love to hear, comment down below, what project do you know where you can send them your Ethereum, and if they don't say what they're going to do, if they don't hit their target of their roadmap or whatever it is they're going to do they offer you the Ethereum back? No. I don't know a project that's offered this. I'd love to hear from you guys if you say, yep, there was this project once that did it and blah, 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 blah. Now, a lot of you have said, well, hang on a minute, what about fees and stuff like that? Will the smart contract have enough Ethereum in there to send all the Ethereum back? I've personally put a guarantee that if this costs me money to send that Ethereum back, I will stump that cost myself personally. And that is because I want to make sure everyone gets all their money back so that there's no one saying, you're a scammer, you're a whatever. So that's a promise that I personally made. It's not in the smart contract, but you'd have to take that as face value. So if we go over to the smart contract address, you can either copy and paste this into Etherscan. A lot of you that are not too familiar with Ethereum are sort of like, I don't get it, I don't understand what is Etherscan. And Etherscan is the Ethereum sort of back end, everything that's happening in the background when stuff gets sent from one address to the other. This is like the ledger, if you like. You can view everything that happens on the Ethereum network. So, and that's any ERC20 token as well. So it's a very powerful thing, especially if you've invested in a lot of scam tokens. So you'll see here that there's normally here it says how much balance there is and how much value and what's the name of the project, but this is no project. This is just a smart contract. You are putting in your Ethereum. So I don't know who this is, but someone put in 2 Ether 2 hours and 13 minutes ago. They then put in another 2 Ethereum, but that transaction failed for some reason because they run out of gas. So I assume the gas fees went up at that time. And we can go down the list, but when we click onto the smart contract, what you'll see is that the smart contract, what it does, it actually sort of separates the money. So what it's doing is it's sending the Ethereum to an Ethereum vault. So I have no access to your Ethereum. So a lot of people message me, Glenn, what are you doing with the Ethereum? I can't touch it. Until this project is a success, I can't touch it. It's in a vault. I don't have the address for it. I'm sure I can find it out, but I've never publicly disclosed it, obviously for security, for your security and my own, but I have no access to it. I can't withdraw from it. It doesn't allow me to until a criteria is met of either the soft cap, the hard cap, or the time has ended the sale. So that is the smart contract. So let's put that over here somewhere. What about the actual Ether Home token? So this is the Ether Home token itself. Now you can see here that it says up here token Ether Homes. Obviously once it's actually created, which at the moment it's not, I can update its social profiles and add to this so that people that are looking to buy through obviously Uniswap, and they'll have to pay whatever price you guys are selling it for. I know I won't be selling it. But anyway, this will show how many tokens were created in the pre-sale, how many people own it, and how many transfers have been made. So if we have a look, this is all the tokens that have been generated. If you deposit more than 2 Ethereum, you get a 10% bonus. So this person here, he obviously put in 2 Ethereum, as we saw a little while ago, the 2 Ethereum. He then tried to send another 2 Ethereum, but it declined. But he received his 5,000 plus an additional 500 because he got the extra 10% bonus. So if you are looking at accumulating as much Ether Home tokens as possible, try and put in at least over the 2 Ethereum. There have been people that have posted 1.97 Ethereum, and I think, why didn't they just deposit like 0.3 more and they could have got 10% extra tokens. But these are all the transfers that are made. Now, I don't know where these have come from. I don't know who they are. But they're there. They're there to be viewed and verifiable. You can do this yourself watching this video. Go to ether-homes.com and click on this blue button here. And then when you get through to that page, you want to click on any transaction and just click where it says here Ether Homes, or Home Token for short. And you can view all of this yourself. So it's all verifiable. So that is something separate. So when you're wanting to deposit money to the project, you want to take part in this. You want to be a part of this Ether Homes movement. Send Ethereum to this address. Copy this address, paste it in your metamask, send it. So copy and paste this address, put it in your metamask, anywhere where there's an ERC friendly token, Koinomi or something like that is one that a lot of people, I think Trust Wallet, metamask is probably one of the most popular ones. Send Ethereum to this address. Now if you're watching this and you've done that, you've deposited, and now you think, right, I've deposited, I want to make sure that I'm actually getting what I paid for. Well, if you want to, you can do that trick that I showed you where you click over to any transaction on here and you actually just click Ether Homes. That's probably the quickest way I get to it. Or you can search Ether Homes at the top here. And then what you want to do is you just want to copy the actual contract, which is actually on the front page right at the top where it says Profile Summary of Ether Homes. You just copy that address. And all you do is you click Add Token and you paste this address and it will just generate everything for you. You click Next and that's it. You'll see your home tokens there waiting for you. Now you can't do anything with them yet because the sale hasn't finished. But at least you know, okay, so far so good. Glenn has stuck to what he said. Now, every single person that has messaged me saying, Glenn, I've just sent Ethereum to your contract, and a little while later they messaged saying, yeah, just received home tokens. Yeah, it's all legit. I hope you do really well. So, a lot of projects are currently absolutely tanking. So this is, I would say, a really good time to get involved. Why is that? Well, if you have a look at a lot of the altcoins at the moment, I haven't checked this for a little bit, but I think Bitcoin's heading for a little bit of a decline over the next week or two. I think we might start heading back down to the 10,000 mark, maybe 9.5. And you can see here, if you're holding any of these tokens, apart from Hex, oddly enough, Hex has been one of my top performers since everything's been dipping. You'll see here a lot of these are absolutely tanking. So a lot of these that people were speculating on, myself included, I got out of this way before, so I'm happy with my decision. But if you're still holding some of these tokens, even ones that have been listed on major exchanges, so this one was listed obviously on Binance, well that one is down 45%, this is down 50%, and this is in 7 days. Just today, a lot of these are down 10%, 15%, 20%. So that means it's not good holding these altcoins at the moment. So what you could do is, if you're thinking, do you know what, I want to get out of these, where am I going to put my money? Well, why not put it in a pre-sale where essentially all you're going to get is either the token or you're going to get your Ethereum back. Now, Ethereum doesn't tend to drop as much as some of those, although in the last 7 days it has dropped almost 10%. And the safest bet at the moment, it has been Bitcoin. Bitcoin's only dropped 1.8%. In the last day, it's only dropped 0.1%. So this is quite steady for Bitcoin. But you can see here, it does have these big slumps at times. So we may get another one of those. So I think this is a good time to get involved in a project. Now, I believe because we've been in an altcoin season, everyone has been thinking, right, I've got this Ethereum, I've got my free Uniswap tokens, I'm going to sell them and I'm going to put it into bloody blah, and they're hoping that it goes up. Well, now the shit's hit the fan. Obviously, a lot of these coins, and I said this from the beginning, I've been saying to all of you, what's going to happen is the altcoins are going to run up, but the second there's a sense of the market going down, people will dump these tokens, absolutely dump them. And you have to get out before that happens. Otherwise, you're left holding this bag of tokens that you think, oh God, I put £10,000 in this. Now I've only got £2,000 remaining. You know, you have to say, what are you going to do? Because if Bitcoin does have another 500 drop, they're going to go down another 50% from that. Now you've only got 1,000. So unless there's another altcoin season brewing on the horizon, then this will be the time to get out of these tokens while things are a bit steady. Do I know that 100% for sure? No, I do not, but that is my personal belief. Take from it what you will. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I can say to you is that I'm offering you a token that its valuation is purely based on the money that it raises. Not based on any speculation, not based on any hype, not based on any sort of roadmap that is saying, oh yeah, we're going to have a mainnet launch in 6 months' time, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No, I'm offering you a token that I will say, well, it must be worth £70,000 by this time next year because we'll own 2 properties by then. They'll have 35 grand equity in each one. Plus, I managed to get the original 35 grand back out. Now it's worth 100,000. There's currently 200,000 tokens in circulation. So you do the math. Should be worth this. Now, speculation in it, obviously, I can't say. It could be worth $10 a token, or it could be worth 10 cents a token. That depends on you, what you're buying and selling them for on Uniswap and stuff like that. But the idea is that the people that are investing in this are actually more interested in actually owning properties with a cryptocurrency. That is the real key feature here. And one of my I would say success stories recently is that with a lot of altcoins and stuff like that, a lot of people give you a lot of grief because they're Bitcoin maximalists. So any coin that you think of or any idea, they just think scam. It's all a scam. He's just scamming people. Buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Which I almost 100% agree with. I do think there's a lot of scams out there, and since creating my own token, it has made me realise even further just how much some of these projects are ripping off investors left, right and centre. But they don't see it because they just think, oh, when's it going to pump? When's it going to pump? It's like a gambler's mentality. People are not looking at these cryptocurrencies as businesses, which they should be, because a lot of the coins are businesses. I understand like the YFS token or whatever, YFI, when that was released very decentralized. When the Uniswap token came out, that was released very decentralized. But XRP, Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash and whoever, they own a majority share of the token, and you rely on their referrals, their marketing, exactly like a business. If McDonald's never advertised, would their sales go down? Yes, they would absolutely go down. If they didn't spend a penny on marketing for a couple of years, their sales would go down of burgers. If Coca-Cola didn't advertise, now these are big massive chains, people will still use them no matter what, but up and coming companies, like if there was a brand that wanted to compete with Coca-Cola, would they survive without marketing? No, they wouldn't. They absolutely would not. So these projects, unless they are completely 100% decentralized, released, then they're a complete absolute waste of, or I would say they're not worth what CoinMarketCap is suggesting that they're worth. Anyway, back to, so there was this person on Twitter called R-Man the Parman. I don't know if he's a big Twitter. What's he got? Oh, yeah, he's got like 1,800 followers, so fairly bigger than me. He started posting. He posted a thing saying, "Oh, what altcoins people?" And I said, "Ether Homes." And he started asking loads of questions. Now he was straight in. "Oh, you're just trolling. This is a scam. I'm considering changing career path and going fully into Bitcoin, but I'm a bit overwhelmed where to start. What services do you guys feel were missing? By the way, I'm a computer scientist." So I was actually instigating, like, look, I've got this token idea, but I would love to add staking feature to it. So would that be saying that you could program, sort of thing? But then this guy gets involved, and he starts commenting saying, how does the token ownership enforce legally what you own the property? Hint, it doesn't. So a little bit of sarcasm there. And I said, look, and I argued my case. And he said, well, what's the point of the token? I don't get it. He said, I'm just trolling. And eventually he commented saying, actually, you've got a good business like that. Great idea. You just don't need tokens to sell your share of your company. No, that is right. You don't. I can just create a company and I can just sell shares of my company. And I could go to people and say, look, do you want to buy shares of my company? But obviously, I would then have to adhere to obviously all the guidelines and do only project listed investors that are accredited investors that have over a certain amount of wealth, and I would also have to surrender my own shares of the company. So I could do that, but I just felt like, do you know what, this would be a really cool way. What if you owned a cryptocurrency that owned a proportion of the homes? That was my big idea. That was the light bulb moment, and I feel like I've gone about it the best way I can. I sleep very well at night. I don't panic or stress like, oh god, this is not going to go through, and what if they realise I'm scamming them and stuff like that. Like, I don't ever have to worry about that, because I know either this is not going to go through, or it is going to go through and it's going to be a profitable venture with me and several of you out there. At the moment, that's only 16 people. You have about 30 hours. If you want to take part in the Ether Home token, now's the time to do it. All your other altcoins are absolutely tanking at the moment. What have you got to lose? So what I would say, if you are interested in taking part, there is a link in the description down below of the Ether-Homes website, and I'm also going to paste the contract address. So if you just want to be lazy and you don't want to go over to the website and you don't want to read it all and you don't want to read the smart contract, do you know what? I'm just going to copy and paste this address in the description down below. Just send this address Ethereum. That's all you need to do, and you will then own some Ether Home tokens. I suggest you do it from an ERC20 friendly wallet address, so metamask or Trust Wallet or Konami, whatever wallet you use, and hopefully we can join this journey together. Over time we will add this to exchanges, we will get it added to very popular wallets. Obviously all the shares will be written up with the exact amount of coins that there are, so everyone knows one token is one share of the company. I will do all that, I will post it. I will then share the journey, so any houses that I purchase I will be sharing with you guys on this YouTube channel, so you can say, hey look mum, dad or missus, do you know what? I bought some cryptocurrency, look, I own some of this house now, and they'll say, what? That's not true. And you say, yeah, I own a share of that company, and that guy, once it's finished being renovated, is going to buy another one. And people will be like, I don't quite understand what you're saying. And that is the uphill battle that I've had. But I just felt that this was a really cool idea. I know that it's very hard for young people to get on the property ladder, and I feel that you watching this, most of you watching this, are sort of 30-year-old or below males. So if you ask yourself, can I buy a house tomorrow? Yeah, you probably could actually with Ether Homes. You buy 1 or 2 Ethereum worth of the smart contract, the home token. By the end of this year, you will own a share of a home. I can guarantee you that. If you do not invest, you will not own a share of the home. What happens if the project doesn't hit its target? Well, like I said, I'm still going to be doing this myself personally, so the business idea I will still be doing on my own. It's really just you guys that lose out, I suppose. You will not be able to purchase homes. Now, someone may come out and copy this idea and run with it, and maybe they can market it and do better than I can. If they can, so be it. I will happily, talk to them and even help promote it if I felt it was a really good project. But what does frustrate me, and this is me going on a tangent and moaning now, so just bear with me 5 minutes. A lot of people will invest in absolute shit tokens, and I'm sorry for my French there, but people will invest in complete pump and dump coins. And if I go to this portfolio, these are the Y tokens that I've been following. I haven't bought all of these, but I'm just saying that, I've been keeping my eye on them. And if you have a look, they have absolutely tanked. If you bought YFFS Finance, which I think went up to about $200 at one point, it's now down 80%. You've lost 80% of your investment. If you invested in YF Value, it's down 65%, that one's down 62%, that one's down 56%. And people were investing in these. Even the really popular ones, the ones that people said, oh, this is golden, it's decentralized, that is down 35% in the last 7 days. I really like TrustSwap, and actually TrustSwap has actually performed, I would say, pretty well. When I was looking at it, they were about 80 cent, and they're now currently worth 60 cent. But you can see there, they're actually one of the lower ones which have dropped. They've actually stayed quite steady in this turbulent time. But a lot of these coins, and this is just the collection of 10 coins that I've been following. If we went over to obviously the full list, all of these coins, like let's say for example, I'm just going to pick on one, let's say Lisk. Are you telling me that Lisk is worth a total market cap of $168 million? Can somebody answer me that? Can somebody say, yeah, actually, Glenn, I think they are worth $168 million. They're worth a lot more than small companies because of this reason. Probably not. The only coins that I feel that should hold those sort of values are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Obviously Tether, because they're offering a $1 to 1 token. Thinks that should be worth that amount. Anything else above the top 3 downwards, no, I don't think are worth the market cap that they say they are. But people will invest in them because, you know, when Binance and when KuCoin, and it does frustrate me because a lot of people in this space are, I would say, gamblers, risk takers. They have a very high appetite for risk. Someone comes along, like myself, and offers something legit, like something really honest, true, transparent, clear. I've said exactly what it is on the tin from day one. I've not once changed in this month of this pre-sale. Have I said, oh yeah, actually, I did say that at the beginning, but now we're going to do it like this because I don't like the way that that's right. I have stayed to exactly what I said I was going to do day one, and I'm sticking to it day 29 out of 30. So I hope that resonates with you. If you're watching this and you think, do you know what, I'm going to give this coin a try, I'm going to buy it, hold it for 6 months, see what this guy produces from it, I guarantee you won't be disappointed. But saying that, you may then see a coin that pumps like hot dog token, and you will sell the coin and go for that because you think chasing gains. So it does dishearten me a little bit. It has made me in the last couple of weeks almost sort of like I want to come away from this space a bit. I've been making money through properties, and I know it's not guaranteed, but almost on a sort of, it's very, very likely that I'm going to make profit when I go into a venture into property. Whereas month in, month out, I have to say cryptocurrencies, even, I'm sure someone will comment on this video saying, yeah, but I've made 100x gain in the last week, that's because you're shit at trading. I'm not a trader. And if you're watching this and you think, yeah, I'm not a trader either, I'm offering you a coin that I'm saying, don't trade it. Don't trade it. Just buy it. You will own a share of the company. You will own a share of the assets. Just hold it. And I guarantee you, in the next year or so, you will own at least a share of 3 properties. That's a guarantee that I can make. Unless something really drastic happens in my life, like I lose both my legs and arms or something, that may slow me down. But I can still get around that. And a few of you have said to me, well, Glenn, what happens if you die? And, you know, that's not nice to think about, but that is a good point. What happens to the business if I die? Well, there is someone, my business partner that I'm currently with, he's doing exactly what I'm doing. I could hand the reins over to him. I could write in my will that my shares of the company get passed to him, and he will continue to develop the business as it goes along. Or I could say there is a vote with the shareholders. I've died. Do they want to sell all the assets and split the profits with every shareholder, whether that's in Ethereum, Bitcoin, or however you want? We can do something like that. So I've thought of almost every angle here, all the way from start to death. So I hope you appreciate that. But I'd love to hear any of, you know, what happens if the CEO of XRP dies? What happens if Vitalik Buterin gets assassinated? What's going to happen to Ethereum going forward? What is going to happen to if the CEO of Cardano, the main person that's pushing Cardano, what happens if he dies? All of you will just dump your tokens and the token will barely be worth anything, and it will take many years for it to recoup that cost. Whereas obviously a business idea, you can say, oh well, you know, Glenn died unfortunately. We own 5 properties. They all have 30 to 50 grand equity in them. Let's sell them, or let's continue to rent them out and receive the dividends, or sell them and we all go our separate ways and we've all come out of it profitable. I put in this much money at the beginning and I received this much at the end. So, you know, I'm offering you something that's not guaranteed, but it's near as close as I can be. It's as sure as I can be at anything money-wise. I don't know any other investment apart from stocks and shares at the moment, because they're guaranteed to go up over time because the US government are buying them. So it seems to me the best sort of investment at the moment is properties and stocks and shares. Cryptocurrencies is just too volatile to make any money on. And another thing that I've been thinking about, sorry, and I know this video's gone on for over an hour already, a lot of people are really hanging on the bet that if they buy Bitcoin, it's going to go up to 100k, which I honestly believe it will. That's a 10x from now. So if you've got £10,000 in Bitcoin now, it might be worth £100,000 one day in the future. What I have been thinking is, I bet I can make £100,000 in the space of a year, 2 years. Almost guaranteed. Not guaranteed, but very, very likely. It takes hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of time, and it takes an investment. But I honestly feel that I can do that. Whereas Bitcoin, there's no guarantees. It could hit 100,000, then it could drop down to 3,000. It could then drop to £500. It could then go back up to £285,000. If you're a trader and you can spot these trends of fear and FOMO, then you'll probably do very well in this space. But personally, I have been taking a view lately, and this may determine what I do in terms of these videos. I'm not saying, oh, if this project isn't a success, then I'm not going to do videos anymore, because I am still interested in this space, and I still own cryptocurrencies, and I still own Bitcoin, and my aim is always obviously to accumulate more Bitcoin. But it does make me wonder, all this noise, all these other projects, is it worth talking about them, mentioning them? I feel like this altcoin season has brought out the dark side of people. The sort of conversation in a bear market versus a bull market is very contagious. It can be quite dangerous. A lot of FOMO, a lot of fear that goes in. Now this, you might be listening to this thinking Glenn's really over exaggerating here, but if you go back and read any Telegram group, any Telegram group chat of any coin, and you look how nasty and volatile people get when they think they're going to get money, and when someone says something that's common sense, like, oh, I've looked at the chart of this coin, say, I don't know, Trust Swap, I think it will probably dip to 50 cent next week. People go, oh, you're bullshit, we don't need you, get out of this group, you're just a you're shilling another project, you're this, you're that, and this coin's gonna 10x, you know. And I think it's horrible. I honestly sit there and I think, why is it gonna 10x? Why? The only reason those coins will 10x is because Bitcoin 10x'd, or some other project that's related to it will 10x. So it just really has frustrated me. And obviously there's me sitting there thinking, do you know what, out of all of these scammers, shillers, all of that, I'm trying to offer something real, legit, honest, transparent, clear, straight down the line, verifiable, you know, as much as I honestly can humanly do it over the internet. And no one's putting money in. I say no one, very little or few of you are. Now, if I upload this video now and it gets 300 views, if you're thinking, do you know what, Glenn's got a good point here, I want to invest in the project. If there's 300 of you that are watching, I only need each of you to buy 1,000 tokens, which is about 0.8 of an Ethereum, which I think in today's money, 0.8 Ethereum to GBP is £215. So you could own a home or a proportion of homes under the company for £215 currently. If 100 or not even 100, if 80 of you watching this video do that, we will hit our target within the next 30 hours. And this project will be a go, and we will purchase a property, and everyone, I'm sure, will be happy. What the price of the token will do, I cannot guarantee you. I cannot say that, and I'm not going to promise that, because that will be down to people buying and selling it, and I can't control what you do with your mouse and keyboard. But what I can guarantee is that if this project is a go, there will be a home that is registered to the company, which you own a share of because you just invested in it in the next 30 hours. You own a share of that home. I can guarantee that will happen in the next 2 to 3 months. I can guarantee that. I hope that's cleared everything up. I hope I've made it really, really, like, sometimes I just want to get the screen and shake it. But yeah, it seems like at the moment, either a few of you have really sort of understood and said, yep, I get it. I 100% understand what he's trying to achieve, what he's trying to do. I'm going to put some money into it. Some of you, I think, purely don't get it. And you've just gone, do you know what? I quite like BitGlen. I'm just going to invest some money into it just to see what happens. I honestly think that that is what is happening. Someone actually sent some money here from Binance. Bought 400. Anyway, I think some of you have done that, which is, I thank you very much for that. It's really, it's great that you have that much faith that you're willing to put money into it. So, yeah, I mean, obviously over the last, I've had this YouTube channel now for 3 years, and I think my track record speaks for itself. I have in that time done one paid video, which was that Prime XBT one recently. I have put referral links for things that I have personally invested in. I have trialed things before I've even mentioned them, and some of you have gave me stick for that. Why didn't you tell us when you was looking into it? But I've tried everything in my power to be as honest and transparent, legit, and make sure that I'm not shilling a scam. And so far, apart from Envium, which was a rug pull from 3 years ago, but then I had no referral link, I gained nothing from talking about that. And I told everyone to sell the token at the point where it was about to dip below being profitable. That's really the only thing that anyone can say, yeah, but you did mention Envium. And I think a lot of us got caught out by the ICO fad in 2017. So that's not no excuses, but I'm sure many of you out there have probably just done the same again this altcoin season. Now, really, we might not have another altcoin season now for potentially 2 years. Who knows? It may come back next week. If it comes back next week and all these 80% coins all of a sudden start pumping again, people will be like, whew. But I honestly think, especially with the way COVID is being mentioned and government seems to be going into more serious lockdowns, Bitcoin's going to take a big hit probably over the next, I would say, 3 weeks, and I think altcoins are going to absolutely tank. That's my personal opinion. So at least if you invest in my project, I'm only saying it's worth exactly what it's raised. So you can't argue with that. No one. If I said to you, I've just sold my car for £35,000, I can honestly and legitimately say my car was worth £35,000 because that is the price someone was willing to pay for it. If this project raises £35,000, I can say this project is worth £35,000 because that is the amount of money it's raised. Not 168 million or not £500 million, £35,000. Now we are 20% of the way there. So we only need another 80%. But at the moment we have sold, as of recording this video right now, let's refresh this page, Oh, someone's just bought some more. Sweet, thank you for that 2 minutes ago. 64,300 tokens. So we need, I think the goal was, let me get my calculator back up. Originally, I set the goal of 120 Ethereum. If you times that by 2,500, it comes to 300,000 tokens. Some of you are getting a 10% bonus, so it may be slightly higher than that. But at the moment, we have 64,300 tokens already sold. So we need 235,000 tokens to be sold. There's typically 1 to 200 of you that watch these videos in the first 24 hours. So let's divide that between, let's just say 100 people. That means I need 100 of you to buy 2,357 tokens. Some of you may put in 2 Ethereum, so that means someone only needs to put in half an Ethereum to average itself out. But that is essentially just under 1 Ethereum. So I need 100 of you to put in 0.8 of an Ethereum, and we will hit the target, and you will own a share of a home by this time in 2 months' time, maybe 3 months, just to be on the safe side. So if you want to join me on that journey, send Ethereum to the contract address in the description down below. Or if you want to do your research first, which I recommend you do, because that's what I think you should do with any investment that you go into, check out ether-homes.com. Again, the link to that will be in the description down below. I hope that's cleared everything up. I hope that makes sense to everyone. If you want to join me, you can join me in Telegram group chat, which is Team Bitglen, or you can join Ether Homes. They have their own Telegram group chat, or you can go over to Twitter, Ether Homes, or you can find me at Bitglen, or obviously comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions regarding this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload this video so that everyone can watch it and everyone can be clear. I am then going to be doing a live stream probably later on tonight that will probably lead into midnight. So many of you from around the world, depending on what time you are, you may get to watch it. I'm then also going to do a long live stream tomorrow. It will probably be midday, and I may even do 2, because that will be the final push. If this project doesn't hit its target, at least I can say I did everything in my power to get the message across. So that's it from me today for now. I'll do a live stream again in a little while's time. This video is probably going to take half hour, 45 minutes to upload and edit. So I will see you for sure tomorrow for a long live stream where you can ask me any questions you have. So if you really are like, do you know what, I'm on the edge of investing, but I just want to know something, message me on Telegram, message me on Twitter, or wait for the live stream tomorrow and I'll answer all of your questions. Maybe I'll put like a little countdown clock with the contract address that people can send the Ethereum to, but we'll try and do something special for tomorrow as it's the last day of the pre-sale. And then oddly enough, Thursday, which is the last day of the project, I'm actually going to view 2 properties, and one of those was one that I had in mind for Ether Home. So by the time I get up there, though, it takes 3 hours to get there, the pre-sale would be finished. The pre-sale will end at 10 AM Thursday. So we have tonight, tomorrow, and then Thursday morning. By the time I actually arrive at the address, it'll be a no-go. Now you may be thinking, why are you viewing a property? Well, I have a friend that also buys properties as well. We're actually going up there, and he sort of said, you know, if you don't buy it, I'll buy it. So if by then I would know whether this is a go or not. So I already have a property in mind lined up. Now if that doesn't happen, there's always the next deal. It doesn't have to be that one, but just to let you know that obviously I'm being as proactive as I can be, and I'm trying my best to make this obviously a success, which I know it will be. We just need to hit the soft cap first. If we don't, there have been people that have been messaging me saying, Glenn, if you don't hit your soft cap, I would like to invest in you personally, one-on-one. that becomes a bit trickier. It doesn't become trickier. I wouldn't mind doing that, but there's quite a few of you that have messaged me that I would rather you just invest in this project, because then you've got the tokens, you're decentralized to me, it's anonymous, you've got your tokens, I've got obviously the Ethereum, I go and buy the properties, and we share the dividends out through the tokens. If you want to invest in me personally, if this isn't a go, we can talk about that, but then obviously, you know, for it to be a success, we would need to raise at least £35,000, which there's about, I would say, 5-6 of you that are like, I'd like to invest in you personally. If I could raise that between 5 or 6 of you, I don't know, maybe I'll create another token that's just between the 5 or 6 of us. But that is if this doesn't succeed. My 100% focus is on Ether Homes, because I feel that this is really special, and I think that we can make money through the properties, the renovations, the rentals, the token going up in price, and also the Ethereum that's backing it. So I feel like there's quite a few different ways there of creating profit, and I think that this could be a multi-million-pound company. Give it 2 to 5 years. I really think this could be in. The people that invested at the beginning, they're going to be the ones who are laughing. They own several properties, the token's gone up in value because the amount of assets that are associated with it, the amount of rental dividend returns that are coming in is always continuously going up. A lot of people have said to me, Glenn, why are you doing all of this with only a 25% share of the business? Well, obviously, if I'm only putting in a small amount of money at the beginning, I'm putting in all the hard work, then I understand that I don't deserve a 75% share. I'm actually giving 75% share of the ownership of the company over to everyone watching this video. So you guys can, I've said from the beginning, be the majority shareholder of this company if you want to. It's entirely down to you. So that's it for me. I'm going to wrap it up there. I've been talking for an hour and a half. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it hasn't droned on too much. That's the whole business model in a nutshell. If there's anything you don't understand, message me, comment, subscribe. Join me at Twitter, BitGlenn. Join me over at Telegram, Team BitGlenn. Ask there. A few of the guys, they get it. So even if I don't respond because I'm asleep or whatever, they will probably respond for you because they get it. So I hope that you will find the answers that you're looking for. If not, check out the white paper, check out the website. The answers are there if you're willing to look for it, or you can just ask me. That's it. I'll end it there, and I'll see you later on. Bye, guys.